Thank you. Well, police are receiving dozens of tips on a deadly shooting near Town Center Parkway just off 295, but they need more. They're raising the reward for information. Overnight, they released some new information of their own. Kenyanta Bullard, a survivor of that quadruple shooting, was booked into jail just last night after being released from the hospital. He was arrested for a probation violation stemming from an accessory after the fact charge in Clay County from December of 2016. Now that means he helped set up some sort of crime, but he may not have actually committed the crime. As part of that probation, Bullard is not allowed to possess a firearm. Now the shooting itself is still being investigated. Multiple police agencies are joining forces now to find out who killed 3 young men and injured a 4th. JSO was offering $8,000 for useful tips. Authorities say there were several vehicles in the area when the shooting happened, so they're looking for those witnesses. They need them to come forward. And as always, tips can be made anonymously to Crime Stoppers.